Hello and welcome to Greatness Radio. I am your host, Monica Carter Tagore, bringing you information, inspiration, and occasionally even interviews to help you show up at your best. When you've made the decision to go for your own greatness, this is the place to be. Let's get to it. I used to suffer greatly under the disease to please, except I didn't recognize it as that thing at the time. And the disease to please is something many of us suffer under. The disease to please is where we are so focused on making other people happy. We're so focused on pleasing others. We're so focused on having others like us that we take up actions that are actually not helpful to us. We go out of our ways to please them, even at great inconvenience to us, even at great distress to ourselves, and even sometimes in ways that may compromise or actually go opposite to our own aims and goals. So I was really afflicted by that for a long time, and sometimes I can still find myself going down that path, and I have to catch myself. But when I was really deeply into this whole phase of disease to please, I would do things, I would respond to others in a way to help them, even when what I was doing was actually not going to help me. In fact, it could be harmful to me. And I'll give you an example. I remember when he's my husband today, but at the time we were dating, and we attended one of those timeshare presentations. I don't know if you've ever been to a timeshare presentation, but you go to the timeshare facility and they show you around, and it's beautiful. They show you these beautiful facilities with so many amenities, and it's just really a dream place. And so the end, of course, is to pitch a timeshare to you so that you can go and purchase a timeshare. Well, we went on a timeshare, one of those timeshare sales calls. And of course, we even went there because someone invited me, someone from my church, I believe, asked me to go. And even though I wasn't interested in a timeshare, I did go because, again, I had the disease to please. And so I didn't want to tell this person no. I said, of course, sure, yes, I'll go. So I dragged my then boyfriend, and we went to this timeshare presentation and spent however much time there. And of course, we got to the point of, at the end of the presentation, the man that made his pitch told us it'll be so and so dollars. We could sign up at this rate, and so on and so forth. We can get started immediately, so on and all of that. And my boyfriend and I, we already knew we weren't interested in purchasing a timeshare. I just dragged him to this presentation because at the time I had the disease to please, and I didn't tell my church member no, I wasn't interested. So we were there just kind of as a courtesy. However, when the guy made his pitch, when he began to outline the money of it all, I actually considered signing up for the timeshare. I began to think, well, he's already invested so much time into us. He spent the whole afternoon sharing with us, talking to us, telling us even about his children. So it would be rude for me to go away without signing up. Yes, that was on my mind. That was my thought process. And so I was about to sign up for a timeshare when, of course, my boyfriend kind of reminded me that, no, this is not really what you wanted to do. You're not interested in this. This is not what you intend to do. This is not even something you're prepared to do. And thankfully, I was able to resist. I was able to come back to myself and decline the offer, and we walked away that day without having committed ourselves to purchasing a timeshare. And I share that example because I think it is so typical for so many of us. We are so keen on pleasing other people. We're so keen on making other people happy. We're so keen on impressing other people with our likability that we're willing to do things that compromise our own health and safety and security and ultimately our goals. I was willing to sign on the dotted line to pay thousands of dollars for a timeshare that I was not interested in because I wanted to be nice to the guy, because I wanted to please him, because I didn't want him to feel as if he had wasted his time. But what about me? What would that have done for me? If I had signed up for that timeshare, it would have thrown off many of my goals. I would have committed thousands of dollars to a timeshare that I didn't need to commit. I had other financial goals. I was on my way to getting married. My money could have gone to preparing for my life with my future husband. My money could have gone to paying for my current financial obligations, and so on and so forth. So I had to withstand that temptation to yield to the disease to please. And I'm so glad I did, because my life is so much better and I don't miss having that timeshare. So what about you? Have you found yourself stuck in a place where you're making bad decisions because you want to make other people happy? Are you putting yourself so far on the back burner that you're compromising your own health, safety, security, and happiness? Are you so wrapped in making sure that you are always telling people yes, that you actually are constantly telling yourself no? If you have been afflicted with the disease to please, as I was, then this is what needs to happen. You've got to have a mind shift. And this is the mind shift you need to make. You need to realize that other people's opinion of you really is none of your business. And that's not an original thought to me. I've heard that saying many times before. In fact, I heard it from internationally known speaker Les Brown. And at the time, I didn't really realize the context of it. It sounded nice, but I didn't realize really what that meant. But as I began to internalize it in my own life, I realized that it's really significant and it's really important. Other people's opinions of me, they're not my business. Those are their opinions, not mine. Now, this is not to say that you won't ever care about loved ones or about people who matter to you, but it is about letting you know that most of the people around you, their opinions just don't matter when it comes to your health, your happiness, your safety, security. What they think of you, that's a reflection of themselves and how they see themselves in the world and how they want to project their issues on you. So don't make your decisions based on their opinions. Make your decisions based on what you truly feel will be helpful and beneficial to yourself, what you truly feel will be helpful and beneficial to your family, what you truly feel will be helpful and beneficial to the world. That's what you're looking for, not just because you want to impress someone, not just because you want to please someone in a superficial way, someone who, again, their opinion of you does not matter. What did that timeshare salesperson's opinion of me matter? I never saw him again in my life. His opinion of me just could not matter. And so it's the same for you. If you're making these decisions because you want to impress strangers, if you're making decisions because you want to impress people who really have no bearing on your life, if you're making decisions because you want to somehow impress people who really aren't thinking very much about you anyway, then stop it. Focus on your own opinion of yourself. That's right. Focus on your own opinion of yourself. Who do you envision yourself to be? Who do you dream of yourself to be? Who do you aspire to be? Work to impress that person. Work to become that person. Remember, in our work on greatness, greatness is that best and highest expression of who we truly are. So work on being that best person you truly are. Work on showing up in that way. Make decisions based on that. And when you make decisions out of your greatness instead of your fear out of not being liked, you're going to produce better results. You're going to have a better life because you're going to make decisions that are truly about who you are on the inside. The disease to please is an affliction that causes hurt, causes harm, can cause quite detrimental effects. So you want to get away from it. You want to be cured of it. You want to at least manage it as soon as you can so that you can produce better results in your own life. You can be healthier. You can be happier. You can move forward in a positive and an intentional way rather than simply responding and reacting to what you think other people think of you. The disease to please is something It's not just something that happens to women, it happens to men as well. Sometimes we all are faced with it. We're making decisions because we want other people to like us. We're making decisions because we want other people to be somehow pleased with what we're doing. We're making decisions because we want to impress others, but we don't realize that in most instances, people are too busy and wrapped up in their own lives to think very much about us. So when we're making these decisions that actually compromise our health and our happiness because of the disease to please, we're trying to make decisions to please people who really and truly aren't thinking much about us because they're focused on themselves. They're dwelling on themselves. They have so many of their own concerns that are on their minds. So when you look at it in that way, really, you're making an empty decision. It doesn't matter to anyone, but it can definitely hurt you. It can take you away from your true purpose or calling in life. It can take you away from those things that are truly beneficial to you. It can take you away from your true happiness and ultimately your true joy. So look at how you can overcome this disease to please, starting with realizing that these people's opinions of you, they simply don't matter. They're none of your concern. They're none of your business. Focus on your own opinion of yourself. Focus on being the best person you can be. Focus on being that higher version of who you are. Focus on being that great person you aspire to be. Make decisions to please that person. If you make decisions to please that person, you are going to have better results in life. You are going to have a happier life, and you are going to walk in a space where you feel more in tune to who you are on the inside. And ultimately, that's the source of your greatness. You can do it. You can overcome that disease to please just as I've overcome it. But again, don't think it's a one-shot and done deal. You've got to work on it all the time. Even today, there are instances where I feel compelled to make a decision simply because I'm trying to please external people who ultimately do not matter. And so I have to just take a step back and to talk myself from off that ledge so that I don't jump down into that abyss. I can make an intentional decision based on my goals, based on my values, and based on who I am. So you can do it too. Let's bond in this thing together. Let us resolve now to overcome, to be cured of, or at least manage that disease to please, so that we can live and breathe our greatness, so that we can pursue that best and that highest expression of who we truly are. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to go to iTunes and subscribe. And tell a friend too, so they can live and breathe their greatness. And for more free information, inspiration, and ideas, be sure to go to monicacartertagore.com/greatness-newsletter and join the newsletter so that you get all of my best strategies, ideas, and information on freeing your greatness. In fact, go there now and you can get the Greatness Starter Collection, which is 3 free resources to inspire and inform you on your path to greatness. You have it in you. Go on. Set your greatness on fire.